when the sun dipped behind the tall apartments of Nairobi West and the city lights began to flicker like restless fireflies. 20-8-year-old Amina, dressed in a simple modern mustard dress, walked home with the heaviness of a secret she had carried for 7 long years. Her son, Malik, a bright-eyed 7-year-old boy, with a navy hoodie and jeans, had asked her a question earlier that morning, one she had always feared, one she had spent years avoiding, one that made her hands tremble even now as she walked. "Mummy, where is my father?" That moment had shaken her to her core. The morning light had been soft, the kitchen bright, but the question felt like a thunderclap that split her heart in two. She had stared at him, her throat tight, her mind racing back to the night. Everything changed back to the betrayal, back to the truth she believed she would never speak again. Now, as she unlocked her apartment door, her mind replayed Malik's voice, innocent yet piercing, and she knew she could no longer run from the truth. She placed her handbag on the couch and leaned on the wall, tears threatening to spill. She had promised herself she would tell him when he turned 8. She had promised her own mother before she passed away thou. She would protect him from the pain of knowing the truth too early, but children grew faster than promises, and secrets had a way of demanding space to breathe. Malik came out of his room, holding a drawing he made in school, 3 stick figures labeled me, Mummy, and 1 empty figure with no name. His eyes held something she wasn't prepared for: pain, curiosity, longing. "My teacher asked why my father never comes to school events," he whispered. Amina felt her heartbeat echo in her ears. She knelt down and cupped his small face, feeling her voice shake as she said, "Malik, some truths are hard to say." But the child only nodded, understanding more than a 7-year-old ever should. The room felt tighter, the air heavy. Amina's thoughts drifted back to her youth, her first love, Tariq, a charming and ambitious man who had promised her the world, but instead left her with a wound so deep it took years to breathe through. She remembered the night when she found out his biggest lie. The night her world flipped upside down. She had been pregnant, hopeful, ready to build a future with him. But then came the discovery that shattered everything. The second phone she found, the messages to another woman, the voice notes where he denied even knowing Amina. The moment she realized he had been living a double life, her mother's voice from that night still echoed in her head. "My child, sometimes love hides monsters behind smiles. Don't let this break you, let it teach you how to rise." A week later, Tariq vanished. No calls, no explanations, just silence. And so Amina raised Malik, alone, working, studying, fighting through tears, breaking and rebuilding herself piece by piece. And now, destiny had brought the moment she feared. She sat on the couch and lifted Malik onto her lap. The room dimmed as the sun finally disappeared, and the soft glow of the city stretched across her living room like a reminder that night always comes before dawn. "Malik, your father," she whispered, but her voice cracked. Malik held her hand as though telling her that he was ready, more ready than she was. Just as she gathered the courage to speak, there was a sudden knock on the door, sharp, unexpected, alarming. Amina froze. Malik looked up. The knocking came again, louder this time. Her heart pounded. It was late. No one visited her at this hour. She walked slowly to the door, dread curling in her stomach. When she opened it, the last person she ever expected stood there: Tariq, dressed in a dark jacket, beard grown, eyes tired, a man who looked nothing like the memory she fought to forget. For a full moment she couldn't breathe. Malik blinked, confused, watching silently. Amina tried to close the door, but Tariq gently blocked it. "Amina, please," he whispered, "I need to see my son." The world stopped. Every bone in her body froze. Malik gasped softly. His father who never came, his father who vanished before she could speak. Malik's small voice broke the silence. "Mummy, is this him?" Amina felt her chest tightened as tears filled her eyes. She turned to her son, then back to the man who had once destroyed her life. The secrets she had protected for 7 years stood at the doorway, demanding to be seen. But before she could answer, Tariq stepped forward and said the words that made the ground shake beneath her feet. "Amina, I didn't leave you. I was forced to disappear. And the truth, the real truth, is darker than you think." Amina stood there, trembling, her mind spinning with questions she never wanted to face, while Malik clung to her dress, sensing the storm that had just entered their home. And in that moment, she understood one thing. The truth she had been hiding was nothing compared to the truth he was about to reveal. Amina stood frozen in the doorway, the ghosts of yesterday colliding with the nightmares of today as Tariq stepped into the dimly lit apartment, his tired eyes moving slowly from her face to the small boy who clung to her dress like a frightened shadow. Malik stared back at the stranger, who claimed to be his father, confusion tightening his brows, his little hands gripping Amina's sleeve with fear. Amina closed the door behind her, heart thundering as she whispered, "Say what you came to say and then." But Tariq shook his head, his voice trembling as if words themselves were heavy to carry. "Amina, everything you think you know, everything you've suffered through because of me, it wasn't the truth." The room grew colder. Amina felt her anger rise like a flame long denied oxygen. "You disappeared," she said through clenched teeth. "You blocked me, denied knowing me, denied Malik, denied everything. You abandoned us." Tariq wiped his face with shaking hands. "Amina, I was forced." Malik stepped slightly forward, studying his father's expression, sensing the brokenness beneath his words. Tariq took a seat, shoulders heavy, as if the truth itself was crushing him. "The night you found my second phone, you think I was cheating? Living a double life, but that phone wasn't for another woman. It was for protection." Amina frowned. "Protection from who?" Tariq took a breath so deep it shook his entire body. "My family." Silence thickened the air, pressing into every corner of the room. "Your family," Amina whispered. "Your family loved you." Tariq shook his head slowly. "They loved the version of me they controlled. They wanted me to marry someone of their choosing, a business arrangement. When they found out about you and Malik growing inside you, they said you would destroy everything they planned." He lifted his eyes, pain swimming in them. "The messages you heard were, I said I didn't know you'd force me. My father had men listening, watching. I was told to deny you or lose everything, even my life." Amina stumbled back, disbelief weakening her knees. This wasn't the story she had lived with for years. This wasn't the betrayal she remembered. This was darker. "So, you left us?" she whispered. "You left your own child." Tariq nodded slowly. "They sent me away that night, out of the country. My passport, my phone, everything was taken. I spent years under their control, trying to find a way back. I only returned when my father died last month. I came straight here." Amina felt her chest tighten, her memories shifting, rewriting themselves. And yet, pain didn't disappear just because truth arrived late. Malik stepped closer, his voice small but steady. "Are you really my father?" Tariq's lips trembled as he knelt down, tears falling freely. "Yes, Malik. I am. And I have missed every moment of your life." Malik looked at his mother as though asking permission, and Amina, torn between anger, grief, and the love she had, barely gave a slow nod. Malik walked into his father's arms, and Tariq held him like someone holding time itself. For the first time in 7 years, Amina saw a softness in Tariq's eyes she hadn't seen since the early days of their love. But just as a fragile peace began to settle, Tariq's phone buzzed. He stiffened. Amina noticed. "What is it?" she asked. Tariq hesitated. "My family, some of them don't know I'm back. And if they find out about Malik, they might come for him. They might claim he belongs to their bloodline, to their legacy." Amina's blood ran cold. "Over my dead body." Tariq nodded. "Exactly why I'm here. I need to protect you both. There's something else you need to know. There was never just one lie. There were many. And the biggest one is that my family knew about Malik long before you found out I was gone. They planned to take him the moment he was born." Amina felt the world collapse beneath her feet. She grabbed Malik instinctively. "Why?" Tariq swallowed hard. "Because, in their tradition, the first son carries the legacy, and they wanted him raised their way, under their control." Tears fell down Amina's face as she held her son tighter. Tariq stepped forward, placing his hand gently over hers. "I came back to make sure that never happens." Suddenly, loud footsteps echoed outside the door several pairs. Amina's heart stopped. Tariq's face turned pale. "They found me." Malik clung to his mother, trembling. Amina felt fire ignite inside, her fear and fury mixing into something powerful. "You're not taking my child," she whispered fiercely. Tariq moved quickly, turning off the lights. They stood in silent darkness as the footsteps approached, voices murmuring in the hallway. Amina held Malik close, whispering, "I will never let anyone take you. Never." The footsteps paused outside their door. Amina's breath caught. Malik buried his face into her dress. Tariq clenched his jaw, ready for whatever came next. But then, the footsteps moved on, fading into the distance. Silence returned. Amina finally exhaled, collapsing onto the couch with Malik in her arms. Tariq sat beside them, his voice soft but firm. "This isn't over. But I'm here now, and I'll fight for both of you." Amina looked at him looked at him for the first time in years. The man who broke her was not the man sitting in front of her now. This one was broken too. This one had wounds. This one wanted to begin again. Malik held both their hands and whispered, "Can we just be a family now?" Tears filled Amina's eyes as she kissed his forehead. "We'll try," she whispered. "We'll try together." She didn't know what the future held: danger, healing, forgiveness, or more secrets, but she knew one thing. The truth had finally come out, and nothing would ever be the same again. And as the night deepened around them, Tariq whispered the words Amina never thought she would hear. "Tomorrow, we start over. And this time, no one will tear us apart." CTA, call to action. If you want part 3, the full twist, the family confrontation, and what happens when they come back from Malik, comment part 3 and subscribe for the next chapter.